Hi, I'm Jalen, and right now, I decided to make a video to film a video about how I'm feeling right now, and I wrote down a few points for me to bring up in this video. First, I'll start by telling you a little bit about of who I am. I am a person who is an entrepreneur and trying to open her own business and is currently working on that. I guess I should explain my business because I tend to talk about my business a lot, but I don't usually explain my business and what I do and everything, so I'm going to try to explain what I do. So right now I'm currently working on getting funding for my business and the business that I want. I want to open a place, or even if I did decide not to open a place, I want to maybe rent out space and I want to hold events for people. Whether it be giving classes, lessons, public speaking, doing stand-up, so whether it's like poetry, you could stand up and read your poetry, or maybe whatever you want to perform and show people and tell people, you can do that. I also want to have art events, and we can maybe showcase people's arts and stuff like that, etc., etc., different events in that area. And as well as I want to also have space to rent out to people, for affordable space to rent out to people. And also, there's a few sections, obviously. Well, not obviously, you didn't know that. But I also want to potentially, maybe not at first, but I want to eventually incorporate different large equipment for people to be able to rent out and use for affordable prices, because let's face it, not everybody can just afford certain things. Like a kiln can range for thousands of dollars, and I want to be able to rent out to things like that for people, and just different types of equipment, in more so in the creative field, the art field, things like that, so people can have access to those things. And I also want to have a little shop to do wholesales with people, with different small businesses, art businesses, to help get their name and brand out there and help them do that. So that's generally what I have to do right now, though I am kind of working on the funding part of it. Well, I'm not kind of working on the funding, I am working on the funding. The question is, how the fuck am I going to get the money for it? So I'm trying to work on getting grants and stuff, and I've also been trying to think, I've been thinking about starting my own little shop so that I can start raising money for the business, because obviously I need money to get the space and stuff, and all the things I need, which I already wrote down all the things I need. There's a few more things I need to add on that actually, but all the things I need to actually get it rolling. And I'm trying to think of ways and things to do in the meantime while I'm doing it, because for right now I can't do anything because, well, I'm not throwing an event in my room. And that actually sounds terrible because I hate people in my space, because I just don't want them to mess anything up, or like, if that means after they leave I have to clean and stuff, which is fine, but like, it's just different when you have your own space in a room. Like, this is my room, this is my personal room, so it's different. So until then, I'm trying to think of small business ideas and whatnot. So when it comes to the business idea I just told you about and how I need to raise money for it, that for me is easy, quote unquote easy. And when I say easy, I mean it's all about learning things and finding different strategies and marketing strategies and all the things, and figure out how it's going to work for you, how you're going to make it happen. Now, when it comes to smaller business, like me, when I say smaller business, I mean like my art, my writing, my film, all the things that I do in animation, all the things that I do, that's more personal to me, and that also is very scary for me. Like, just putting yourself out there in the world is very scary for me. Like all my thoughts and feelings and whatnot, and just being vulnerable with people, especially people that I don't know. So, say for example, yesterday I was editing my first book. I wrote this book, maybe like 2021 to 2022, yeah, around that time, and I kind of been editing it off and on since then. And for quite a few months now, I haven't touched or looked at it or anything. But yesterday I decided that I'm going to start doing another round of editing and start thinking about how I'm going to publish it and stuff like that. So looking at it from a new perspective, obviously it's not as good as I thought it would be. But that's okay, because that's why there's editing, and that's why there's all the other things that you need to do to publish a book. And looking it over and having drafts, first drafts, second drafts, third drafts, final drafts, all the things like that. That's why it's a whole process, really. So it's a whole freaking process. But not just, okay, the whole book wasn't bad. The whole book was not bad. But what also concerns me is the fact that it's very vulnerable. And when I was editing it with the goal in mind to eventually have it published, that's really scary, because just putting yourself out there in such a way where you share all your emotions is very scary. Especially, I don't know, I'm a person who likes to keep to myself. I don't like to really talk about my issues that much. I have a hard time opening up, especially to like people closer to me, like my family and stuff. I don't really like to open up about my personal issues. Which is why I'm talking into this video, like, instead of talking to somebody, which one, I don't have anyone that would necessarily be interested in hearing what I have to say. But also, it's just scary. But also, so the overall goal of my business is to help people and to spread awareness about certain topics or certain subjects and bring light to it. And I want to be able to help people. That's my overall goal with my big business and my small business. I want to help people, and I want to bring people together. I want people to feel a little less alone in like whatever struggles they're going through. So I know that me being vulnerable, I have to find a way to make it so I can be okay with sharing certain things, and so that I can ultimately accomplish my goals for myself. Now, with this channel that I'm creating, that I've currently kind of been trying to be more active in, what are my goals for this channel? I want to, first of all, build an audience for people, build an audience for myself and my business, but also this is an easier way for me to share my thoughts and all my things, because when it comes to Instagram and TikTok, I find that it is a lot harder to make content like this, or the content that I would like to make. So I'm trying to focus more on YouTube, long form content, where I can get more personal, and it could be longer forms of content. Just, I don't know. But I want to build my audience. I want to ultimately create a little community for myself, which obviously will help me with my business and growing my business. But ultimately, I keep saying please. I want to help people. Fun fact, some words I just can't say. But I have grown a lot in that part of my life. Like, I used to not be able to say millennial. I used to not be able to say salami or spaghetti. There's more words I used to not be able to say, but it's just I don't know, speech thing or whatever. That's also another thing that also scares me. So I write. I try to write. What do I write? So my first book is mostly just poetry, and that poetry is based on a time in my life when I was struggling, and I was trying to it was basically like a way for me to deal with these emotions that help heal me and stuff. And actually, it was very helpful. So that was good. So I'm glad I did that, and now I want to kind of publish that. And another thing, when it comes to book promotion, obviously it's a different type of field, and it's harder to promote a book because it's just words, and in this world you're supposed to market yourself with, typically you're supposed to use social media and make content, and mostly right now in 2025 it's about more what's it called, short form video content for your reels and TikToks, even though TikTok is about to be banned in America. So things like that, which I find it hard to do as opposed to long form content. It's easier for me to do, and also like creating stuff for me to post is a lot easier for me to do. And also, I'm also just a little bit insecure about the way I talk and just the way I speak. So if I had to like give a speech or something, I have to make sure to practice and make sure I'm pronunciating all my words correctly and clearly, because also another thing that affects that is the fact that I have really bad allergies. That is just something genetic that I have, that I've always had. I get it kind of from my mom. So my nose is always stuffed. At least 90% of the time, it's stuffed. I would say about 15 to 10% of the day my nose is unstuffed and I can actually breathe through my nose, but generally I am a mouth breather. So that also plays a role in how I speak and whatnot, because I guess I'm always catching my breath. I don't know. But yes, I say all that to say, just generally as a person who is a creative and an artist and who likes to who is on their path to opening their own business, it's really hard to put yourself out there. It's just a scary world, but it's also, I know that if I do this, it would be very rewarding to me, because this is the life that I want. This is what I'm choosing to do with my career, and this is what I want. So I have to take these big steps, or it can be little by little, but I have to take these steps to create the life that I truly want to live. Now, as to a different aspect of the business, I guess we'll talk about my personal / social life. I really don't have a social life. Let me just say it like that. I don't have a social life. And that's partially my fault. I would say 50% my fault. So, I don't have time management, because when it comes to business and creating these things and working on opening my own establishment, that is my life, that is my hobby, that is what I want to do on a day-to-day basis, and that is what makes me happy. So I don't really have a work-life balance, because this is what I do for fun. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to create for myself. Even if what I'm doing is hard, or it's like really boring, or like when it comes to drafting out my grant proposals and business plan, like that's really, really boring. But I know that I still can't say ultimately, that will hopefully create the career path, and just move further in my career path into the life that I want to be living for myself, the life that I want to create for myself. So yeah, so that is one of my downfalls. I don't really make time for people, as well as I think for me, secondly, it's a little harder for me to create connections with people and friendships with people, because first, I'm very shy. I'm naturally closed off and shy, but once I know the person and I feel comfortable with them, I will start to, obviously I'll open up and tell them all the things that you do, that you tell people about yourself in friendship, and do things with people. But so yeah, and also I've just had weird friendships. Like one of my last friends, we were good friends, but the thing, I just think, okay, our lives were obviously going in different directions. You know, like she chose to go to college and whatnot and do this, that, and this, that, and the third. And I, opposed to me, I chose not to go to college and I chose to do this, that, and the third, you know, starting my business and everything. And that's fine. That's not the problem. That's not the problem at all. The problem was, it just felt like she never had anything positive to say about my business or anything I was doing. Like, it just felt like she never had anything positive to say. She always had something negative to say about whatever I said. And I also didn't always feel comfortable opening up about certain things. That's another problem. Well, I guess, I don't know if it's a problem about me or the person, but I don't like opening up to people about whatever is going through my head. If I'm going through a hard time, I don't like to say anything because it's just really uncomfortable. And also just the thought about like being perceived, like what are they really gonna think or say about the things that you're telling them, which is also very scary. And that also brings me a lot of anxiety about over, because when you're making friends with people and connections with people, you want to be able to connect with them, and you want them to also understand you and understand where you're coming from in that certain whatever you're talking about, whatever situation you're talking about. You want to be understood. You want to feel connected with them, and also same for them, vice versa. You know, not just me, but also vice versa. But that is something I do struggle with. And then the next thing as well is that I really don't know anybody that's going, I don't want to necessarily like the same or similar direction, but I don't know any people that have like the same kind of drive as me and the same understanding. And I think a lot of people don't really understand, you know, what I'm doing. And that's also a fault on my part, because I tend to not explain myself fully, because again, I get very anxious and shy, and like I don't want them to think things of me. Like, I don't like people to know that I have feelings and stuff and whatnot. And I also don't want people to think that I'm stupid or something, which people do think, which, you know, whatever, that's what they think, but that's also why I don't fuck with you. Simple. But I do need damn, am I stuttering? I'm trying to make it a point for myself and put more effort into building the kind of circle in my life, friendship circle rather than connections and stuff. I do want to make a point to put myself out there and talk to people and whatnot. That's also another thing with my big business. When it comes to bringing people together, I also want that to also help me put myself out there and make connections with people, and ultimately, I keep trying to say ultimately, build friendships with people and whatnot. So that's what I want to do. And yes, it's just really hard for me because I'm very anxious, and also I don't have a work-life balance, and I don't put myself out there, in which I'm trying to do. But it's really hard for me to do, and I'm working on it. So I think that's pretty much the end of the video. You know, I was just kind of feeling a little anxious, and I needed to vent about it a little bit. But that's pretty much the end of the video, and I hope that you stick around on my journey in starting my business. And if you're in the tri-state area, I hope when I do eventually end up opening my business that you come and stop by in one of my events and say hi, because I would love that, you know. And I actually love to meet new people, even though I am very nervous and very scared and anxious, and I get very overwhelmed. I'm saying a lot of things. Even though I do, that does not mean I don't love people. I love people. I love meeting new people and hearing about their lives. I'm super kind and understanding, at least I think I am. But yeah, I love people, and I just love people. And that's why I'm doing it. So yeah, but I hope you stick around, and when I do, hopefully you stop by. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.